Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Mark Wayne of the second here with Champions Real Estate Team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. So every Wednesday we jump on over the lunch hour and just do our talking real estate segment. Joining me today is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. He joins us just about every week. So he's the expert in the mortgage industry and kind of what's going on the financing side. So like I said, every Wednesday we jump on, kind of go over what's gone on in the real estate market in the last week. So we'll jump straight into it, kind of try to be short and sweet to the point here. So how's the market? Market's, pretty active. We're gaining more new listings than we have in prior weeks. So we're at 422 new listings that hit the market for your viewing pleasure this last week. We had 408 new contracts written, just a little bit lower than the previous week at 423. We had about 520 so homes that got new owners. Previous week was about 500. So kind of about similar to what we had the last week. Market is still very active from buyers standpoint as well as sellers standpoint. So give kind of the 30,000 foot view diagram here. So we have just over 1,300 homes in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS, which is our Great Plains multiple listing service. And that is excluding the no-show listings. So those are listings that aren't they're on the market, but they're not viewable to essentially to the public until they go live. Then we break that down even further to the Douglas and Sarpy County area, kind of the Omaha metro area, just under 700 homes at 643. So that number's up from the prior weeks of 640, 630, and even down in the 500. So we're getting some more active listings here in the Douglas and Sarpy County area. Existing homes, about 425. Once again, that number's up by about 30 or 40 from last week. New construction, right around that 250 numbers where it's been hovering. The average sold price is up 15% from this time last year at 284. So one of those things that, we're talking about it beforehand, kind of every week, kind of repeating the same old thing. That basically, those buyers and clients and such and friends talking to me, should they wait, for the housing to kind of settle down a little bit. There's a lot of data that we've seen, with the generational birth years and stuff that we're getting more people born in the median house age. So those people that were born in 1988, the average median age of a home buyer is 33 years old. Then going to 89, 90, 1991, so that early 1990s, each subsequent year has had more births in that year. So those people are now entering their prime, home buying years. And, when you look at the number of new construction homes built in the U.S., over the decades, I got an interesting little chart here I'll share here quick with you. Brace Homes out of Michigan. Vince Lisi, our broker, shared this with us in our mastermind group. Let me pull it up here. Where's that? So this is a chart that they have here. Homes built in the U.S. by decade. So this is very telling of why we're in that supply and demand, where we have not very much supply. Well, since, 1940s, in each decade, about 20 million homes have been built, almost 30 million homes in 2000 to 2009, going through that to make it a little bit bigger here. Then we dropped down after the housing bubble burst in 2008. We built 5.8 million homes in the U.S. Right now, we have 10 million home buyers in the buying pool in the U.S., and we're selling about almost just under 2 million homes a year. So as you can see, it's just a simple numbers game and simple mathematics of why we're kind of seeing where we're at and kind of the perfect storm through that aspect of it. So, it's very nice. Brace shared this with us out of Michigan. So if you're looking for a home in Michigan, give them a holler. But this is some interesting data when people are kind of saying, well, we're going to wait on the sidelines and hopefully prices are going to go down. I don't foresee that necessarily happening. Just simple supply and demand issues out there. But, inevitably, we don't have a crystal ball. So who knows? And we'll talk about interest rates going through that aspect of it. So that's kind of it as far as what's going on in the market. We'll jump in here with Russ, see what's going on in the mortgage world and go from there.
Hey, Mark, another beautiful week this week. We're seeing some great weather. Interest rates have ticked up just a little bit. And we do have a lot of economic data, a lot of economic reports coming out in the next 2 weeks that are expected to continue to show inflationary pressures. We talked about last week that the consumer price index and the producer price index both came in even hotter than expectations. That gave us the inflation that we've been kind of telegraphing here for quite a while, that we've been arguing is COVID COVID induced or COVID affected anyway. As we've also talked about in prior weeks, Mark, we know that lots of folks are still staying home and collecting unemployment. As a result, some supply chains are still struggling, which is part of why we're seeing an increase in prices of goods out there. Hopefully we can get those supply chains open up. I did hear that 23 states have elected to end that bonus, if you will, that bonus unemployment effective the end of June. So the hope, the belief is that of the roughly 12 or 18 million jobs that are available, that a lot of those will get filled as we move into the months of June and July, and hopefully that will start to free some supply chain things up, and we'll see a softening of goods and services. Also noteworthy, and it's kind of a dovetail on what you just mentioned a moment ago, Case-Shiller, which is an aggregator of data, had reported that over the last year, home prices across the country, and this would be among all price points, went up by 13.2%. And when we're talking about home prices that are in the conforming limits or below, which is roughly 550,000, the housing finance, the Federal Housing Finance Agency said that prices under the 550 range had gone up by 13.9% over the last year, which is smoking hot. And as you pointed out, and you just showed us a moment ago, it's all a factor of demand relative to inventory. We underbuilt, don't have enough homes available for sale, but we've got roughly a 9 or 10 to 1 ratio of buyers versus sellers out there. So what that's doing is pushing prices higher, and we're starting to see more appraisals coming in not supporting the purchase price. And so it's important that you have a strategy in place on how to deal with that and make sure that you have funds to cover that shortage if you want to buy the home or work with your lender. And we're happy to help you with that to use different strategies to try to keep the buyer in that purchase. So it's going to be an interesting summer. We definitely need more inventory, but we're expecting, to your point earlier, that we're going to be in this high demand, low supply market for a while, which certainly is not going to be conducive to lower home prices, folks.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times in weeks past. You have to have a plan, on what you're doing when you're going into a house. If you have a contingency, almost any type of contingency, whether it's to sell a home inspections, financing contingencies, anything like that, some of those sellers are just not even really entertaining those offers. So you have to be very competitive and very smart on how you're doing it. Making sure that you can cover, if you are making an appraisal gap or you're paying seller's cost, or if you're doing a bridge loan on a house, that you have to sell before you buy, and some of those, there's a lot of times in the description, for the agents can see that, hey, the seller wants to rent it back for a month, and most buyers are willing to do that, whereas in a buyer's market, they weren't, so it's one of those things that you have to have a plan moving forward and have agents that know exactly what's going on to put those plans in place to hopefully get you a seat at the table to negotiate with that seller. Like we said before, when you have multiple offers, there's multiple agents that are just getting a text message of saying, hey, thank you very much for writing the offer. It was a strong offer, but unfortunately we went with another offer, and more power to them, and so there's sometimes that, at least they'll give you an opportunity to, hey, would your client do X? Well, let me call it, and so it's having that open dialogue and, working with an agent that has multiple relationships with other agents, because it's, talking to agents and been in the business for 13 years, teaching CE continuing education classes to multiple other agents, and even working at Berkshire where we network and we mastermind with a whole bunch of agents, that helps and plays a part, in working with a full-time agent that's actively involved in that. And that can even just get you, because a lot of these deals, when you got 5, 10 contracts, offers on the table, are very, very similar. It's literally almost a flip of the coin, and sometimes the sellers, they'll make different, ways they're going to look, how to, what's going to be best fit to basically get that contract to closing, from that aspect of it. So yeah, biggest thing is have a plan in place, and ultimately finding the houses as well. So, being on a real estate team here at Champions Real Estate Team, our agents are actively working, in the marketplace, knowing of houses coming on the market. And some of our sellers are willing to say, hey, Mark, if you got a buyer that I don't have to get this house 100% spotless, and, they're willing to pay, and come to terms on a price, happy to do so. And as a buyer, you may pay a little bit more. To say the market analysis puts it at 250. You may pay 255, But if we put that house on the market at 250, they may get 260. And, you explain that to the seller and say, hey, it's up to you. What do you think is worth it? Because ultimately, as a seller's agent, we're doing what's in the best interest of the seller and explaining, hey, you may, get multiple offers, and if let's do it, then let's put it on the market, put a sign in the yard, and let it go to market. But it's a matter of what's going to be best for that situation, because maybe closing date's important and price isn't as important as other things. So, but anyways, yeah. So if you then we can also when you're actively looking on the market here, jump onto our championsrealestateteam.com website. Basically, you'll search all the active homes, all those 1,300 homes that are on there, making sure that those listings are accurate through that aspect of it. So you can just click on any of them. So home search, map search, you can do a home valuation, the market report, insider report here. So if you already currently own a home, you can check out what's going on in your neighborhood once a month. It will email you a report of the active, sold, and pendings. And you can keep, your own like stock ticker or what's going on in the marketplace or what the house sold for down the street. I'm happy to tell you, shoot me a text message, but you can also sign up for this. We're not going to bombard you with calls. I mean, those of you that know me, I'm not necessarily a high pressure salesperson. My goal is to educate you, coach you, and let you make the decision, with the information, with as much information as I can get to you. So, but also we got our home buyers and seller guides here as well. So as always, I don't know, Russ, you got anything else to add on? I think it's kind of short and sweet today. You're on mute. Got you on mute.
Sorry. I think you hit it right on the head, just as we have in previous weeks. You've got to have a plan, and that involves all parties to the transaction. Your lender needs to be on board supporting the effort. You need to have a plan with your realtor and listen to their advice, because this is a tough market for buyers, but you can win bids. And this team has shown that that is possible, but you need to be coachable.
Yeah. That's ultimately, our goal is to get, like you said, get you that information. I can tell you what it's going to take to buy house A, house B, house C. It's a matter of, does that make sense for you? And having strategies and fail safes in there to hopefully, try to get an inspection and all that kind of stuff to help you feel comfortable moving forward. And Russ helping you on the financing side, that when you put your head on the pillow at night, are you stressed out about the house payment? Because if you are, then let's don't accept this contract. It's not the house for you. Let's find another one. There's many, many houses out there. We might just have to wait a little bit, but let's get you in the best situation possible through that process. So as always, appreciate you guys listening. So if you can comment on it, we'll reach back out to you. You can reach my number down here. There it is, 672-7670. Give Russ a holler, 290-8936. He's, great resource to, know all the different products that are out there. He teaches the finance class for Results Coaching School of Real Estate. So he's teaching the agents about the financing side. So he's very well versed in all the different products that are out there, rather than just, one-stop shop, going to another person and knows exactly what you need to do and lay it out for you and let you decide what's going to be the best option for you. So awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone listening and watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great Memorial Day. Enjoy the weekend and the extended weekend. And it's a great weekend to look at houses. Give me a holler if you have any questions. Happy to help you. I'll be out there. It's what we do. So we work when other people don't. So great. Have a great weekend and take care.